Okay, for section 5 here, what we're going to do is, I skipped section 4 just to let you know this wasn't really covered in class in the way that we see here. However, I believe the diagrams in your book that should look very close to this. Okay, so we're going to skip on to section 5. Here what we do is we have a main class called player, and basically it asks us to basically extend that player class and create a barbarian class that overrides the attack and get max health. So the attack should say, instead of saying standard attack, it should say barbarian attack, and the max health should be basically 5 times their endurance. You'll notice that I should be able to get the endurance through the get max health method in the super. Okay, so if we go out to our J creator here, okay, I already copied this out. Sorry. Okay, so we want to extend the player class. And all we're going to do is we're going to override the attack. So public void attack. And here all we're going to do is system out print line barbarian attack. And then for the max health, it's 5 times the endurance. So what we're going to do is public int get max health. Return super.get. So I'm just multiplying the max health by 5, and that's all that part 1 is. Part 2 is just as a copy constructor and an equals method for both the barbarian and player classes. So if we go back to here, so we want to add in a copy constructor as well as an equals method. So public player P, and this dot name equals P dot name, and this dot endurance equals P dot endurance. So that's the player class, and now we have to add an equals method. So equals typically go at the bottom or near the bottom. Public boolean equals So return, essentially I'm going to return if the name and endurance are equal. So return if the name so we're going to pass in a P if the equal, so if our name is equal to the player's name, and this dot, or our endurance, is not equal, or if they're equal, is equal to P's dot endurance. So if they're both equal, then we'll return true. Otherwise, we won't. Okay, so we need to add our copy constructor here. So we're going to use the fact that we're extending the player class and pass in our barbarian up into that class. And then finally, our barbarian, that's about the only thing we need to do if that's in fact true. And then we need to add our methods class. So public void or boolean equals, and we pass in a barbarian object. And basically, since we don't have any instance variables or anything else, what we're going to do here is just take our barbarian and just pass it up to super. So return super dot equals, and we pass in our barbarian, and we should be good. Go. Okay, so part 3, we didn't cover how packages and how they work are. However, we did talk about what happens when we create the new barbarian object. So when we create that, remember, so the first thing that gets created is the player object, followed by the actual barbarian object. And what's happening behind the scenes is Java's allocating memory for the object. First, it makes a reference that points out to the object. The object lives there with all its variables. So basically, the key thing here is that when you call new, it takes that and takes your variable and basically tells the computer where to find your method once that's been hijacked. So when we run out of space and stuff, so basically what happens here is that we create our memory block. The memory block gets filled in with a reference, and then the reference points out to our object that we're now creating. So essentially you draw a little picture and show the memory references and how that all kind of comes together there. And then I'll just throw in sections or the extra credit. Basically, this is a little method. There's several different ways you could check it out. Basically, you are the detective and you're trying to figure out who killed Dr. Black. And basically what you would do is the theory just tests if a theory is right or wrong. Um, and you are essentially doing that theory and coming up with a method to kind of check every different thing. So you would create a little method called check theory, and basically that method would iterate through uh, the different arrays of weapon, location, and murderer, and figure out who did it. So essentially, what you would do is, depending on which answer came back incorrect from the theory question, is that would be the variable that you increment. So, for example, we would start out our murderer, location, and weapon all as 1. We take that in and pass it into our theory method. Theory is your assistant, and we don't have the code for that, nor do we need it. The theory would come up with an answer. If that answer is incorrect, is what you listed, we would mark it as incorrect, and then that would your score would get determined based upon how well you answered the questions like that. Another method would be to basically loop through all the different possible combinations of murderers, locations, and weapons, and basically try all 360, I believe, combinations of that. The more efficient approach, again, is you pass in 1, 2, 1, 1, 1 to the theory method. It returns you the murderer's wrong, and then you increment the murderer. If it returned location wrong, you increment location. If it returned the weapon wrong, you increment weapon. And depending on which one it told you is wrong is the one that you would implement. And I believe you could do this in 20 or less answers if you do it the more appropriate response. So essentially that's the midterm, or not the midterm, the final. And these videos now should be uploaded, and good luck. If you have any particular questions with the homework or anything, let me know. And remember, your homework as well as your final project are due on Monday. And again, the final will be at 7:30. Thank you and have a great night.